All right, everyone. This is the premiere of Between Dimensions with Twin Essence. I am Lacey, and I'm Marley, and we're your Starseed Lightworker hosts. As collective ascension guides, we are always navigating our 3D and 5D worlds. In other words, we're between in other words, we're between dimensions. And we are learning to embody our multidimensionality just like you. During Between Dimensions, you get the best of both worlds. 5D conversations in a 3D format. And tonight we are joined by Krista Nastu. Krista is an Akashic Records Reader, spiritual guide, and the host of Your Inner Power with Krista podcast. We're going to be discussing Krista's spiritual journey and her experience with the Akashic Records. Welcome, Krista. We're so excited to talk to you tonight.
Thank you, Marley and Lacey, for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation. I feel like it's going to be so fun because both of you always make me laugh, and it's always an expansive conversation, but in a really like light and fun way, which I love.
We're really excited to dig into the hard stuff right off the bat. The spiritual theme or topic that we would like you all to put in the chat or in the replay. You can put it in the comments. But the question of the night, and we're going to start with you, Krista, with this one first, is what is the most woo-woo thing you have ever done that your non-spiritual friends would think you are absolutely insane for?
So I feel like everything that I do is quite woo-woo to some people, but then to some people it's very normal and natural. But I would probably say channeling galactic beings, which I know both of you do for a living.
That checks out. Yeah, it definitely does. I was gonna say that this doesn't really sound woo-woo, but it's like the thing that comes to mind when I think of this question is when Marley and I will decide to like travel somewhere to meet someone we've met on Instagram. Like we have a lot of people that are like, I think that's terrifying and horrible. Like, why would you ever want to do that? And I'm like, well, I don't know, like because I've met them, like I know them online. Like it's not like they're a stranger to me. They're real people. When we did the Sacred Spirit retreat, I know there were people that were like, that sounds literally awful. Like, why would you ever want to hang out with people that you've never really met in real life? But it's intuitively guided, right? Like that's what makes it spiritual.
Yeah, and you can like tap into their energy and you can see if you guys are a match and you would know right away.
Yes, yes. And then the other thing I always think of too is like when Lacey and I have done paranormal based trips before, only because a lot of people get scared of paranormal things, probably because of the entertainment industry, but they get so freaked out by it. They're like, "What? You did that? Like you slept there, you stayed at that place?" Like, and I'm always like, "Yeah, that's my life. That's how cool I am."
Yeah, honestly, I think I would be very scared to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
That
That stuff,
surprises me.
yeah, that stuff gets me a little bit just because I don't like to see physical things. Like, I'm someone that typically receives like a knowing. That's kind of my main clair. I don't want to see like any apparitions or anything like that.
Oh, that's great. I always feel like it, yeah, it's funny because it's like that's what you go through when you're going through a spiritual awakening. You're like, prove you exist, spirit, prove you exist, like manifest in the 3D. But I also wonder, like, if you polled mediums like across the world, how many of them would say, like, nope, that freaks me out. In reality, we're always connected to the unseen, right? And life beyond us.
Yeah, and we don't need that physical evidence and proof.
Yes. So I think that's a good place to start with the beginning of your spiritual journey and awakening. Like, how did that unfold for you?
So basically, okay, let's start with my previous job. I worked in corporate events, and during that time, I was commuting to New York City, and it was about almost a 2 hour train ride from where I lived each day. It was a crazy commute. But on that commute, I would work on my little side hustle of creating recipes on Instagram and sharing them. And I continued to do that while I worked that job. And over time, I gained a lot of traction and things started to go viral and I was starting to get noticed. And it was something that was like just like super fun, and it was never meant to be any type of business. Like it was just something that I enjoyed because I always enjoyed creating recipes. So everything started doing really well, and someone told me like, you can get paid for this. And I was like, "Oh, you can." That
Wait, was
sounds
the was the side hustle related at all to your corporate job? Like the
No, no,
recipe,
no.
is it not related at all? Okay, just
No, no,
setting
no.
the scene here, the details.
No, the corporate job was in corporate events, so I would put on
Oh, okay.
events
Oh,
for
okay. Yeah.
businesses. Yeah. So no, it wasn't at all. I just created recipes. And so yeah, when I heard, oh, you can get paid for it, I was like, okay, so how can I get paid for it? And I heard you could like make a rate sheet and say like, this is my rate for using someone's product in a recipe, a brand's product in a recipe, and that they would pay me to do this, to create a recipe. So I was like, okay, cool. So that night I went home and I created a rate sheet and I started reaching out to a million brands because that's the way I am. And to my surprise, but maybe because I truly really did believe in myself, they answered. Like people were answering, and I started to get brand deals and I started to make some money. Not a lot of money whatsoever, like not enough to quit your corporate job, but I decided, yeah, why not quit anyway, when I was making such minimal money. And I was like, all I need is the time and space to reach out to more brands, to create more. And I know that I could make a business out of this. So eventually I was like, okay, I'm going to quit and do the thing. So I quit and I put everything into my business. So it was frozen bananas. I'm just going to use the name frozen bananas. I put everything and everything, oh my God, everything into it. And I was working 24/7, like hustle, 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 like crazy hustle. And I just felt like that I have to make it work. Like I don't have like a safety net, and I want to create this thing that I know is possible. So I kept going and I kept creating, and I basically ran myself into the ground because I worked so hard, and I started having a panic attacks. And the panic attacks would happen every so often, but they're pretty intense. And I kept kind of just like throwing them off to the side for a bit. And then I had a particular panic attack where I was like, okay, I think something needs to change at this point because this is not fun and this is not right. So I was like, okay, so how am I going to make a change? So I decided to turn to a meditation challenge. I don't know how this meditation challenge like came to me. Like it just kind of fell in my lap because I never meditated before and I didn't know really anything about meditation, but I just thought it would help me like be calmer. That was the thing. So I was like, okay.
It wasn't at all like get me out of this career. It was
No,
like maybe this will take away the panic attacks. I don't know what's causing them.
I know. Yeah, so I committed to this like it was 30 days, I believe, 30-day meditation challenge, meditating every day. They were all different, like guided meditations. And then I started to not only feel calmer from the meditations, but then I started having spiritual experiences in these meditations. So like I was connecting with past loved ones, I was receiving messages, and I felt like so expanded. I really like finally felt this like I guess my multi-dimensionality, like really like could feel it. And before that, I didn't understand that concept, or like I just, was stuck in the matrix, you could say, very stuck in the matrix. So I started to just like feel this expansion of myself. And it was like I looked forward to meditating every day because I know that like that was my special time. And it was a ritual for me. And then after the challenge, I was hooked. I was like, okay, well, I want to keep meditating because this feels amazing. So I kept meditating and continued. And then I had a vivid dream experience where a past loved one came to me in my dreams, extremely vivid dream. Basically, this past loved one, I could only see the past loved one in the dream. Like everyone else in the dream wasn't able to see this person and communicate with this person, but I was able to, which is interesting now that I think about it. So I received a message to give to two people in my life with this person. And it was just such a vivid experience. I woke up sweating. I was actually sleeping with my mom because we were on vacation together. And I like woke her up and I was like, Mom, this thing just happened. It's so crazy. And I was just like, just, I was really amazed, but I was also like, kind of like, why is this happening? Why is this happening right now? What do I do from here? So that was like another point where I was like, okay, like got to do something, got to figure this out a little bit more because yes, this is like cool, but I think there's something more here that's going on. So I decided to go to a medium. And I never been to a medium before. I don't know even where I found this medium again. Like everything just falls into my lap, you know? And I went to the medium and she basically told me that I was connected to the Akashic Records. And I was like, I don't know what the Akashic Records are, but I don't know why, but this like makes sense to me. So I was like, do you know anyone who reads the Akashic Records? And she gave me someone that reads the Akashic Records. So I decided, let me go get a reading and see what this is about. So I got the reading and I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is what's been going on for me. And this is what I've been like channeling and connecting with. And this is how I've been receiving information. Like this is what I've been doing my entire life, but I couldn't put words to it. It just didn't make sense until up until that point. And then I also in the reading was really able to see the truth of who I was. Something that came through was you're meant to run naked in the woods wild, like be super wild and be authentic in this life. And at that time, I was not like I was quiet and I was shy, but something through hearing that activated like the truth within myself. And I was like, yes, let's go, let's do this. So then, literally from one reading, I was like, mentorship, went right into mentorship, learned how to read my Akashic records. Then from there, I was like, oh my God, I want to do this for other people. Then I went into mentorship on how to read for other people. And then I had practice sessions set up, and I was doing this all in the background of frozen bananas. No one knew for years. And then eventually something shifted where I was like, I can't hide anymore. This is what I meant to do. I meant to share this. And I changed my whole Instagram, and I was like, I'm going full force on sharing my spirituality.
So I have like a million follow-ups. Like, do you run naked in the woods now?
We're not there yet, but I think we're getting there.
How many years it takes you to get to the point to be able to run naked in the woods as a generator? Like, no
Sorry.
joke, no joke though. That's something that we always talk about. We're like, what if like we're like, what if people want you to skinny dip? Would you do it? We do that to each other all the time. Why do we have these conversations? Um, so how long were you actually in frozen bananas before you were like going through that initial like awakening period?
I would say maybe a couple years.
Oh,
Couple years.
okay.
Yeah, because I still had it as like a hobby. Like when I had it as a hobby with my corporate job, like it was still going on. So I would say a couple years.
Number two, is NYC really the city where dreams are made?
I mean, I also went to
Asking
college.
for a wait, asking for a friend.
I went to college in New York City too, and I lived there.
Okay.
So that was like an enjoyable time. But I'll just let you know now, I'm in New Jersey, very close to the city, and I haven't been to the city probably since last year.
Wow, she doesn't miss it, in case anyone's wondering. Yeah, are you just like you kind of like lived that chapter of your life and you're like, like I'm good with that. Like,
Yeah, I think that is it. I think I just got my fix during college. I was fully immersed in the city and city life. And I also kind of feel like it's too overstimulating for me at this point in time.
I can't imagine. Maybe that's why like I like because we just went to New York City for the first time over like the holidays, like and later like J December right before like Christmas. And everyone like warned Marley and I, they're like, it's so overwhelming as an empath. And like Marley had a lot of like physical like I was physical illness. And what you don't see in the Instagram reels like this really bad sickness unfolding throughout every day there. Just about every day. But like I felt like Marley was like really sensitive to it, and I felt like I had the opposite where I was like, I want to stay up all night. I was like, I can't sleep in the city. It's like always alive, and like I was like really like getting off on the energy of the city kind of thing. So that's just interesting. I wanted your take on that. Another question that I had for you is you were talking about like really believing in yourself, which is kind of what pushed you to actually take the step of like, actually, like, I don't need to be in this corporate job, even if I don't, like, I don't need this corporate job. And you took that leap and you like bet on yourself. Do you feel like that was hard for you to do? Because I feel like for most people, that would be hard for them to do.
I know this sounds very weird, but taking big leaps are kind of like easy for me. Not that I
Oh,
don't feel any like resistance at all. Of course I do. I'm human. But I think I just really, when I get like that intuitive nudge, that intuitive hit, I know how to just go and act on it. I know
I
that sounds so
wow.
weird and
I'm
like,
not surprised, to be honest. I'm not surprised. I expected an answer like that. Like you're you you're totally like I move first, the universe follows.
mhm. Yeah. And it's when I have the intuitive nudge. I mean, it's not all of the time. It's not like I could just, throw
I
myself off
mean,
a cliff every
you'd be
time.
running naked in the woods if it was all
True, true.
like and there's probably somebody watching this at some point who's going to be like running naked in the woods. That's not a big leap. And I'm like, okay, go off. You're probably like a water sign or something. Like, so going along that thread, I'm curious, do you have any pieces of advice for viewers or anyone who might be watching this later on how they can recognize that feeling in themselves and know when it's time to like take a leap like that and actually bet on themselves and believe in themselves?
Yeah, sure. So I feel like it's really about being open and at the time, of course, like I wasn't on my spiritual journey when I made the jump of quitting my corporate job. I was not really like spiritually awakened in that way, but I just knew how to trust myself. I knew that like it just felt like if this thing, like I had this actually, I'm going to talk about an example. I had this experience. I was making dinner one night and I was off from my corporate job. And I was making dinner and it was like such a beautiful experience to make my own dinner and like have time to make my own dinner. I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, if I can live my life like this and make leisurely dinners, oh my God. So I was like, Krista, you could do this. You just have to quit your job
Well,
and and bet on what you're creating. And you know that you're creating something that's going to be something. And in that moment, it was like I got that clear feeling and that clear sensation, like make the jump, make the jump because you can make this happen. And it's not about having all of the pieces like, oh, I'm gonna make X amount of dollars and then I'm gonna know it's safe enough, or I am going to do all of these steps and then I know I'm safe enough. It's a feeling that you have, and it doesn't mean that like everyone should go quit their job tomorrow. Like that's not what I'm suggesting. It's when you have that feeling. It's about knowing when you have that feeling. And I think maybe if you haven't taken those leaps before, you have. Like there are moments in your life that you may have not realized you've taken those leaps. So just kind of reflecting back and noticing those points in your life where you made the decision that maybe wasn't the norm or wasn't the easiest. Like, why did you make that decision? What made you take that jump? What made you take that leap? And even in like the smaller things, whatever seems like smaller, it's not actually smaller, right? Like because to make different decisions is hard, and everyone experiences that in a different way. Like if you're making different decisions from your family, from your friends, from the people around you, like it could be technically a small decision, but it's not really I'm putting air quotes on
yeah.
it's not really a small decision. So just noticing the times where you did that and why you did that and what feeling in your body came up or what sensation did you have? Well, how did your knowing come in? How did you just know? It's really just a clear knowing. It's always been like that for me. It's just I know and I go do, but it's not about having the evidence. Like that's not, if you rely on the evidence, like you're never going to take the big leaps, which I know is, it's difficult because we want evidence. Of course we do. Like I love evidence. I'm a human being. But if we constantly keep waiting to make decisions that we know are for us, like we're getting the intuitive nudge, yes, this is for me, then you'll never know if you don't try.
I mean, that example you gave is perfect. Just because I feel like that I feel like they're quite often where it's like, man, if you just had time to make dinner, like imagine how different life would be. It's something so small. Well, it seems small, but it's like it's totally that's totally like an everyday luxury not everyone has, right? Sorry. I was gonna say too, um, oh, hold on. There was something you said about I know what I was gonna ask you. So something that we always talk about when it comes to taking like inspired action and like trusting in yourself is like the concept of divine timing. So like we always have this thing where we're like, okay, like say like I saw this video. This is what spurred this conversation between us. I saw a video of someone who was very into like Dr. Joe Dispenza's teachings. And she was saying like, oh, like say you want to move to Paris, but you're like waiting for something so that you can move to Paris. She was like, no, like you literally just move to Paris and then you have to like expect things to fall into place. Like that's how the universe works. Like you have to move. And so I was like, okay, like if that's how it works, like would that mean like you quit your job to go all in on something? But like where does divine timing play into that? Like what if it's not technically time for you to flourish in your business? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think it comes down to the feeling because it's not only like I would like to do that. That's not what the feeling is. The feeling is like this is the only option that I have. Like this is what I need to be doing. Like this is my truth. This is my path. Like this is where I'm going. So I think it's about noticing when it's just like that would be really cool versus like this is my calling.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I also, it like reminds me of, like, for example, like my first job out of college when I was working in corporate, like part time, and I was offered a different position in government. But it was limited term. It was like, it was a 6 month position. Um, and I left my corporate position for it, which like to other people was like crazy because they're like, why would you leave something stable for something that is literally limited term? like you could be like SOL after that. But I knew like I just knew it was the right move to make, even though it seemed and looked different to other people.
Mhm. Not everyone is always going to get it. Most people aren't going to get it when you're doing things that are outside the norm.
It's true. It's very, should we clip that? Clip that. That's a spiritual motto right there. Not everyone's going to get it.
And I also, one other thing I want to talk about with that is like it starts with your belief. Like if you don't believe that you can do it, like actually believe, not like say you want to believe, but like actually be like I know in my heart and soul like I can do this. It's not possible that it won't work. It has to work. Like it literally has to work because you're co-creating the life that you're living. So it really does start with you and the magic starts with you, but you have to believe that within yourself. And if you don't truly believe something yet within yourself, then it's untangling the conditioning, the programming, the limiting beliefs that you may be holding on to.
I think that's 100% accurate. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. So, talking about the beginning, talking about to where you are now, what has changed? What do you feel has changed on your journey? Like that first time you connected to the Akashic Records yourself, that first time you started doing it for clients to where you are now, like how has that evolved and how does that feel, intuitively and spiritually, for you?
I think I just, live in a more expanded state than I used to. And I see like the magic all around me every day. I used to think in the beginning of my journey, I had to be meditating. I had to be in like an altered state of sorts. I had to be with close my eyes, like, meditate and then I'll receive. I had to do all of these things in order to be really connected. And now I realize like I don't have to do anything. I don't like rules, so I just throw away all the rules. And when I realize like, oh, I actually don't have to do X, Y, and Z to get blah, blah, blah. I'm actually a divine being. That's naturally who I am. So it's just about connecting with that divinity within me and seeing that divinity within me. And I can navigate my life like that. And that's how my life has changed. Like, and that's what I think it's all about. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because this changes your life. Like, it's not just about like receiving guidance or information. It's about living a life where you're doing the things that you actually want to do. Like, you're not living someone else's life. You're taking action from a place that feels aligned, and you're able to do things that you actually desire, rather than living for someone else or doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. You take action from a different place, you live from a different place, and everything just opens up. So that's where I feel like in the beginning I got stuck in the doing, and now I'm more in the being.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. I think too, like to your point, like in the beginning, because I feel like Lacey and I had that too in the beginning of our awakenings. Like it feels like you have to be doing these certain things in this certain way to fit the spiritual box, quote unquote. And I'd imagine, and I'll defer to you on this, Krista, as the Akashic Records reader, but I almost imagine like it just being a very like systematic like, and now I must say this prayer to access my records, and okay, now I'm in them, so now I think I trust what I'm receiving, versus like to the point you are now where you're like, yeah, I never close my records. You're like that shit's open like a guidebook. I'm flipping through that shit 25 times a day. Do you think I make any decision without consulting it? Like
That's really funny. Yeah, that's like my hot take, because I know typically you're supposed to close the records, but you're never disconnected from your records and you're always writing your records. So why would you have to close them? So I don't close them. And I'm always connected. Everyone's always connected, but it's about really allowing yourself to see that and break those boxes that you put yourself in, because I put myself in boxes all the time, and it's about, hey, there's another box, time to break it. Why am I taking on this limiting belief as true? And it's not true. Like, let me break it. Let me open the Akashic records without a prayer. Let me do it with intention, because that intention is everything. That's something else that I really believe, that your intention really dictates everything, right? Because that's like your energy.
yeah, that makes sense. I'm also curious just because we're going through a theme with our journeys right now where we're kind of like trying to break down certain like beliefs or like I don't know what to call it. Like I want to say like things that we've picked up from our journey where it's almost like you carry shame around it. And I wonder if you probably know where I'm going with this, Marley. But because you were really into like the recipe area, and then you move into spirituality, like do you have any hot takes on diet as it relates to the spiritual world? Because we this is a theme right now for us. We've been going through something where we've realized like we picked up a lot of like shame around how we eat and like not wanting people to like judge us, because I think there's somewhat of like a toxic thing in the spiritual world right now, or industry, where it's like if you don't eat this way, like you're not like gonna ascend and you're not gonna be like high enough in frequency and vibration. Like, so I'm curious if you have any hot takes on that.
I love this. Absolutely love this. Like, eat, I don't know if I could curse on here, so eat whatever the F you want.
Oh, well, come on, Krista. Oh, come on.
I
You're
can?
leaving with us? Oh,
Oh, okay.
hey, hold on. This isn't a family show, or is it? That is a Harry Styles quote. That's a Harry Styles quote. Yes, we are very unfiltered. Please feel free to say anything you would like to say.
Okay, so I would like to say eat whatever the fuck you want because I also another thing that I think is okay, so everything is intention, right? Like you're doing everything with intention. If and your belief, creates your reality. So if you're going to believe that XYZ is not good for you, it's not going to be good for you. If
Yep.
you believe, XYZ is going to do this to you, then you're not going to be able to ascend and then this is going to happen after. Like, sure, that's going to happen because that's your belief. So I think taking note of those beliefs and also like we came to live this human experience and eat delicious, soul-fulfilling food. I mean, I'm all about delicious food. You will never see me on like a liquid diet. You would never see me. I eat really like intuitively. I eat intuitively and I eat like what I desire. And another thing that I do, what I'm not ashamed to say, is I enjoy a cocktail. And I don't think that's bad.
Yes. I I love that you said this because early in our journeys, like we encountered individuals who were spiritually awakened or serving in some capacity, and like they would shame us for having a drink. Like I had someone once say to me, like, "Oh, you just wait. You're gonna hit a certain point and you're gonna get really, really ill because it's not gonna nourish your frequency." And I was just kind of like, what kind of rules are you subscribing to? Like, I'm not like drinking all the time. And like, I don't like, it was so weird. And I think the other thing too is like, obviously, like, if we're having a drink, like, we're not working. You know what I mean? Like, we're
Exactly.
not channeling if we're
Yes.
having a cocktail. But it always, like, one thing for Lacey and I on our journeys is it always goes back to, and this is honestly, even if you're not spiritual, this stands true, like what the intent behind like the consumption is. Like if you're doing it to escape a reality, you might have a problem. But if I'm doing it because I'm like, I really like the taste of a mojito on a hot summer's day, and it's a mint that I grow, and I make a really fucking good mojito. Lacey and I make fucking stellar mojitos. Like, and we're not working, like, that doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't mean I'm not going to ascend. And that's not lowering my vibration.
I completely agree. And I think just throwing away those ideas, those boxes, like what we were saying before, like it's it holds you back when you live your life like that. And we're meant to live a beautiful, rich life here, like a human life. And we have access to it like I'm just saying if you want to do it, do it. I'm not like promoting drinking
Same,
alcohol, but
same,
like
same. But like you have to do what feels right to you and not feel shame by it. It's that,
Mm.
and Krista, you talk about this, and Lacey and I talk about this too in our own way, but it's like that, like not spiritual enough concept, right? Like it's like I am spiritual enough as myself. I'm going to eat for what works for me, and this is what Lacey and I talk about. And everyone's ascension path is different. There's no one way to do it. So if I have the mojito when I'm on vacation in New York City, that's not going to lower my vibration. If I decide I want the Shamrock Shake in March, it's extremely likely, everybody, that I'm gonna want at least one Shamrock Shake in March. Like that's fine. It's not like I'm eating like a child every night. Although I do often compare myself to a child. Well, but it's like it's there's so much judgment, or at least Lacey and I developed a lot of shame and judgment around that. And it feels liberating to like it's almost like you come out of this shame closet to kind of like admit that like I'm not bad for choosing to eat the way I do, and it doesn't make me less of a light worker.
Absolutely. Completely agree.
I also think there's something to what you said about like why we're on Earth. Like we don't need to be rigid and like uptight and creating all of these constructs and rules to fit ourselves into. Like part of the reason we're here is to have a 3D experience, right? And so yeah, I'm gonna fucking enjoy the food and the drinks that I want to fucking enjoy. Like I think that there's more harm in the self-shaming and the shoulds. If you're saying like, well, I shouldn't do this and I should do that instead, I should work out today, I
Mm.
should, like you need to examine why you think you should do something and where that's actually coming from.
I completely agree. And this is why this path changes your life. Like this is a prime example of like living a richer life eating intuitively, eating the things that you desire rather than feeling shame around yourself. And you make decisions for you. You're like, does this work for me in this moment? Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. And I'm moving in that way.
Yes. I do want to ask you about your okay, let's go with this one. What was your biggest challenge early on in your spiritual journey?
Trusting, trusting.
That
Uh,
pesky trust.
I think that's everyone's too, but yeah, just trusting myself. And there was a big turning point that I had, and it has to do with what we already shared. And I think this is, it all ties in together. But I had this turning point where I was like, I actually receive messages like outside the records. Like I actually am receiving guidance all of the time. So, how about I just lean into my natural state, my divinity, my ability to do this because this is actually normal. Like, this is actually natural. This is the way that this is who we really are. So the more that I can open myself up to that, the more that I can actually trust in myself and trust in the messages that I'm receiving and move in a way that I want to move in my life. Same thing, like making decisions that work for me, but also noticing how it feels different, a knowing versus a should, or knowing versus the fear. It feels different. A fear makes you feel contracted, and it makes you feel like, oh, I don't know, I'm kind of confused. And it makes you go in your head. And whenever I'm like looping in my head, like, I don't know, maybe, no, I drop back into my heart and I say, like, what is this for me in this moment? Like, what is the decision that's best for me in this moment? So I find that I think that really helps just kind of checking in with yourself. I love like this is the thing that I do, like dropping out of my head into my heart and coming back to center. And that really helps with making decisions and noticing, is this a knowing? Is this fear? What is this here? And discerning for yourself.
Yeah, that confusion. I laugh only because I know it so well, right? It's like confusion's the enemy of greatness. I don't know. That's just how I feel, right? Like it's such an energy leak. Confusion is such an energy leak is the best way I can put it. And clarity, it's amazing how much faster you can move with a level of clarity with what you're doing. I do have to ask the hard-hitting question of the night. But because Marley and I do so much work surrounding mission and purpose in this lifetime and connecting others to their mission and purpose and what they're actually here on Earth for, I do have to ask you, what do you consider your mission and purpose in this lifetime?
Okay. So hot take on purpose. I feel like my purpose is to simply live. Like I came here to live my human experience and whatever that will be. So that's what I feel my purpose is. And for my mission, I feel like my mission is to show up and really share my experiences, share what I have went through and really because I feel that within my own journey is my mission. And I'm uncovering that more and more as things unfold. But what makes me really upset in my, what makes me really upset is how like people think that this is like not normal or not natural when this is who we are, and we've just been so conditioned to believe otherwise. We have been like so gaslit to not believe in our true nature. Like how is that even possible? And I want to show like this is actually who we are. It's normal and natural to connect with your soul, like to be able to receive information, to be able to connect in, to be able to talk to your past loved ones. Your past loved ones aren't far away. They're not somewhere in the sky where you can't access them. They're with you every single second of the day. Like, this is within you. This is within your consciousness. It's just about shifting that awareness, and you can ultimately like access anything. Like, we have the whole universe within us. Like, I think that's the best way to put it. And my mission is to share that, and to share that divinity, and not to just share the spiritual practices or the ways to receive the information, but to show you that this is who you are in your life. And when you live this way, your life changes. And as I said before, like, my life changed when I realized that. And like, I just want to share that with the world, because I feel like, I mean, your life completely changes. Like, who doesn't want to live a life that's actually fulfilling? Like, why are we going through this life then? Because it's already hard to live a human experience. Like, there's a lot of sucky parts, there's a lot of things that are difficult. So why not live the life that you want to live within that? So that I feel is my mission, and I will continue to share it, and I will continue to shout from the rooftops, because I know the power within it.
Yeah, that was well put. I totally agree with, I mean, I obviously I know you, so but but I would totally agree that that is like that totally aligns with the mission and purpose piece. And they are in the work that Lacey and I do, mission and purpose are often very, very closely interwoven, but it's much I think that mission and purpose are much more far reaching than the average person gives it credit for. I think that they want to root it down to the 3D, and they want to be told, when the reality is it's a heavy amount of self-exploration and living of life that often gets them there. Like, that's often how, because living your life is how we have free will, right? We make choices. And living your life is often how you are going to then manifest and co-create and bring forward the mission into your life. Yeah, I think, like, if I could ever, like, give one piece of advice to clients and audience members, I would say, if you think your mission is a job or a career, like, you're looking in the wrong spot.
I
That's like
completely
my
agree.
biggest pet peeve. I'm like, people think it's a job or a career, and that's not what it is.
Exactly. I agree. And it's about like exuding your unique frequency, and like going through the muck, all the muck and the conditioning and the limiting beliefs that have covered that. And the more that you can uncover your unique frequency and allow that to be exuded from you, it's like people feel that. People are magnetized to you, and you change lives just by walking in the coffee shop. You change lives just by walking down the street. It's not even in the spiritual work sometimes. Sometimes it's just like you being you throughout your life, and that's where it changes, right? Like, that's where you can see the changes, is when you're just going about your everyday life and you're like, wow, that's magical. Whoa, that's magical. It's just it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely true. And you can, if you want to, you can manifest it forward through a career. But career is not the only option. That's the important thing, I think, to remember. There's a lot more out there for us.
Yes, I
Okay.
completely agree. And it's like, though we're doing the work in this way, it's like if we weren't doing this, we would still be exuding the same frequency.
Yes. Yes. Like, we are choosing to bring it forward in this way that doesn't, if we didn't choose this path, if Twin Essence wasn't the path, there's another way that it would be manifesting and being brought forward, right? Absolutely.
And I think that's comforting to know too for people. So it's like you
Yes.
don't have to feel that pressure. Like, it's just about you being you.
Yeah, there's not one way, and there's multiple paths out there depending on which one you want to walk. So I think we should pivot, and I think we should do a little game of spiritual this or that.
Okay.
We're too deep right now. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we'll give you the options, and you'll let us know which one and why.
Okay.
Okay, tarot cards or oracle cards?
Oracle cards. I actually never worked with tarot cards, but I have quite a few oracle decks and I really like tapping into them and using them. And it's kind of just like, I don't use them all of the time. I just kind of go to them when I feel called to, or if I want like deeper guidance, then I'll pick one up and I'll just go to the deck that I feel called to. How about both of you?
Definitely Oracle. Yeah, we're definitely Oracle people. I did like a little bit of tarot like in the beginning, and not that I ever very, very beginning, yeah. But it's too much to learn. Like it was it had the deck had an awful personality in my opinion. So like we still have the deck, and it's just like a classic like tarot deck, but it's like when you would pull tarot cards for guidance, I feel like it was just very like I don't want to say cryptic, but I feel like the energy of the cards are very just like, I don't know, black or white, like life or death responses to things. Whereas like the oracle cards are like so much more intuitive, and it was like I could just interpret it so much better, and it was just there was so much more guidance with the oracle cards.
Yeah, that's what I love about Oracle cards because like sometimes I won't use I actually oftentimes do not use the book and I just tune into the message, look at the card, the few words that are on the card or whatever, and go deeper in that way. And I think that's also a great way to like exercise your intuitive abilities. Like try not using the book and just pull the cards and feel into the energy of the cards.
I agree. Like we don't really use the books much. I guess it depends on the exercise we're doing with it, but yeah, we rarely entertain the books either, and unless it's tarot, because then I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this means. Like I was like, and then the fucking reverse cards. I'm sorry, but like I that's the other thing about me with like my journey with spirit. Like I was like, I'm gonna read oracle cards, but I was like, I don't do reverse cards. Every deck I've ever received or every deck I've ever gotten has like if you look at the book, it literally says like this deck doesn't do reverse cards. Like they know they're like she doesn't do reverse cards. We don't. This isn't a thing. This is not a thing. Okay, pendulum or dowsing rods?
Okay, I'm going to be really honest. I have not used either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've
I know.
used I've used both. I would say so. I would say for yourself, I would use pendulum. I've only ever used dowsing rods for like honestly, paranormal, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Like dowsing rods, I love on a paranormal investigation. We have a light up pair that we use for paranormal, but yeah, I would not use dowsing on myself or to connect to spirit. I would do pendulum if it's like my own spirit guides, but I'm even pendulum, I'm not super into pendulums at this point. Okay, this one's an energy one. Crystals or Reiki?
Crystals, but
Ooh.
I like crystals. I mean, crystals and oracle cards are probably the only two things that I actually use, like physical objects. I typically just kind of like channel, and that's the way it's kind of been through my spiritual journey. But I also do energy work through the Akashic Records I kind of just tune into like where I'm being guided and maybe it's on myself where I'm like using my hands in a sort of way in near my body to release something or there's maybe a limiting belief stored there and I use my hands to kind of work the energy. So that would also be another way where that's not Reiki, but it's kind of like a form of energy healing within the Akashic Records.
I think that makes sense though. I mean, I don't consider my energy work Reiki. I consider it like light codes and um yeah, that's just how I sometimes channel with my star family. So I think that makes sense. I
Oh, I
feel like
actually have a story. Oh, go ahead.
oh, no, you can go. You can go.
I just thought of a story with crystals that is really interesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I have a moonstone crystal, and one day I was just feeling really stressed out, and my period was late. And I knew that my period was late because I was just heavily stressed. So I decided to use my moonstone. I was called to pick up the moonstone and put it on like my lower belly and do some work around like feeling safe to bleed. And
Wow.
I held it over my lower belly and I kept saying like it is safe to bleed, it is safe to bleed. And I said it like over and over again. And it was like this like energetic experience. And 2 hours later I got my period.
Oh my God. Oh my God, actually though, that's like a deeper topic in itself. Like just you saying it is safe to bleed. I'm thinking like I'd be like, please do not bleed. We don't need to do this time this month. Like, no, I just said no, but I never would have thought of moonstone. That's a very interesting choice.
Yeah, yes. So that was a cool
So
experience, but I don't always use them. I just go like when I'm called.
yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't always use them either. I use Lemurian. I have like strawberry Lemurian quartz, and I have spirit quartz that I actually use the most. And I have a indicolite that I use the most because they're like to me they're like highest vibration. Um, but yeah, I only do it when I'm called to do it. I don't do it like every day.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm curious then, I don't know if you'll know this one, but tuning fork versus singing bowls.
I do have a singing bowl actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't really use it. That's why I didn't really I use it a couple times, but that was really it. I just have it. It's kind of like on display as like a pretty decoration.
I have never ever used a singing bowl. We only have a tuning fork that we'll use. But yeah, never used a singing bowl before. So,
They sound
yeah.
like it sounds really beautiful. I haven't really done it probably correctly. Like I just kind of played around with it a couple times and then just kind of left it there. But maybe that's something I'll get into eventually.
I think too, like for us, it's the tuning fork because it's a lot smaller and you can take it with you when you travel. Like, but also the paranormal origins, like, why do you think we needed that shit with us? Like, it's like, I got this room, something's wrong with the energy. Also, like, how like we acquired a hockey puck from a game and we were like, why do we have a hockey puck? We're never gonna use that. And then like we ended up needing it because we acquired a tuning fork. And then like everybody's always like, what's the story behind this hockey puck? Yeah, why do you have a hockey puck? I'm like, oh well, yeah, I need it for the tuning fork thing. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Um, okay. Full moon or new moon?
So full moons for me always bring up shit. But
Wait, you mean like this weekend's one, right?
oh gosh, can't wait. Can't wait. No, but I'm gonna say they always bring up shit, but I always work through something and I always come out the other side. So, though that is like a difficult experience, I would say that I would actually choose a full moon.
I feel like I don't do very I feel like I don't do very intentional things for new moons. I only do like releases for full moons. So I'm like full moons, that's where I have the most experience. Yeah, I just feel like there's more like energy. I don't know, like you're releasing more, you're shedding more. I think you sleep a lot less. Yeah, like it's weird energy, but I feel it more than I do a new moon.
It's
So,
intense. I'm
yes.
also a Cancer sun, so I don't know if that plays a role into it.
Hmm. I have no idea. I just think that the full moon has some straight whack energy sometimes. Like in a good way though, too. Like you just know it's like going to change who you are. Um, okay. I have two more. Meditating or journaling.
Meditating. I love meditating and yeah, I just love meditating and I find that it's something like my spiritual journey started with meditation. And I also find that it's important to note that everyone can meditate. Like I was someone who was one of those people that like you say like I can't shut off my brain. Like I was the overthinker constantly, but over time like that just like went away and it was something that I enjoyed. So I don't recommend meditating if you hate it. Don't do something like you don't enjoy, but I want to say that it's definitely possible for everyone and I was one of those people that was like, "Oh, I'm going to be in my head of blah, 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 blah. And then I wasn't. And it was like, obviously an expansive experience, as I explained. So meditating for me.
That makes sense. Meditating, I agree. And then the last one, spirits or interdimensional beings.
Mm, spirits that I know.
Any spirits as in like human spirits.
Okay, if it's past loved ones.
Any human spirits it could
No,
be. You can't pick and choose. It has to be like any and all human spirits that want to show up. I mean,
Okay.
obviously you have boundaries, but what do you prefer like interacting or connecting with?
Yeah, I would say interdimensional beings. If it's you're saying if it's just any spirits, as I said, I don't like physical manifestations. I don't like apparitions. So I guess yeah, that's what I would say.
That was the right answer, everyone. Interdimensional beings. That was a test. Um, you passed. Actually, I had one more on here I missed, and that is burning incense sticks or like dried herbs, like loose leaf.
What's actually really funny is I have an incense stick right
Ooh.
here, but
Oh, that's funny.
so I find that the incense are just a little bit more like clean and quick
They
than
are.
the
Yeah.
the herbs. So I guess incense are just like a little bit easier.
Yeah. I think so we do a lot more loose leaf. But that's because we grow a lot and then we have like such a large stock of it that like we end up just like putting a puck down and like burning tons of like loose leaf. We'll like make an intuitive blend of whatever we've grown. And that's kind of what we end up doing. Yeah. No, I mean the sage, like we do our own sage bundles too. So like we have sage bundles and stuff we burn, but usually the herbs like we'll do incense. Like usually it's like not because we bought it though. It's usually like thrown into something we bought or like gifted, and then we're like, cool, we'll use it. So it's not that we don't like incense. It's just like, but I mean, I will agree. Like the herbs can be very messy. Like you have to make sure like you have to really contain that. But we do like in general for like releasing, we prefer like a burning.
Mm.
Like maybe I don't know, maybe it's just a fire sign in us, but like we like the burning for releasing. So that's what we do for full moons. Like usually it's burning something.
Oh, I like that. That's like a ritual you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a cauldron. It's been a hot minute now because it's winter right now, so it's a lot more difficult to get out there for a full moon. But like we do have a little cauldron we use, and we usually write down things we want to release and then burn them.
Oh my God, you should do a video of that. Sounds so cool.
I should maybe because I think the full moon's on
We
Sunday.
should.
Maybe we should. We just can't look like a hobo when we do it. Well, no, I'm joking, but like it's like I always feel like it's like dark out,
Mm.
freezing, and then it's like and then it's like I'm in like this mismatched outfit with like Ugg boots on, like light, and the wind like making it not want to light. Like the wind always is like blowing the lighter out, and you're like trying to get it to light in the
Mm.
cauldron, and your like hands are numb. But it looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing in the summer months.
Yeah,
It
let's just wait
does.
till the summer.
Right. But yeah, but it is because we end up with a ton of sage because we grow it and it really thrives under us, our care. So we often gift that to people when we travel too. Yeah. That like we know will appreciate it. Like I don't know how we got through the airlines with it, but we did. They didn't
Yeah,
ask
that was
about it.
actually, I was just thinking that, like, what?
Well, ironically, when we did the Sacred Spirit Retreat, we brought a couple different like bundles of like sage that we made for gifts, and they didn't ask any questions about that, but they unwrapped my tarot card deck because they thought it looked dangerous. It was just a box. They were so like concerned. Tarot deck. It was just like, what is this? They unwrapped the whole thing, took all the cards out. We had to like rewrap it and make it look like it didn't get destroyed by TSA. Like,
Oh my God, tarot cards are really not for you.
yeah, well, that's the reason I brought them. I brought it to the Sacred Tool Swap because I was like, I won them on Instagram, and I was like, I don't use these. Like, they're not for me. And so I was like, I will be leaving these in Vancouver. Like, so it's kind of funny. Okay. So wrapping things up, how can our audience work with you and where can they get in touch with you?
So you can follow me on Instagram at Krista Nastu. Everything is there. You can get links to my YouTube there as well. I have a million ways that you can work with me. So I have a few free offerings. I have my Akashic Records Masterclass. I have my spiritual toolkit, which is 5 days of spiritual practices that you can implement in your life. That I promise these spiritual practices will literally change your life. Like I shared them because they changed my life and they're really, really simple and they take very minimal time. Those are two free ways to work with me. And then I have a few other offerings, a one-on-one Akashic Records reading with me. I have a mentorship package where we can go really deep within your own spiritual journey, your spiritual gifts, expanding in your spiritual gifts. I'll teach you how to read your Akashic Records. And then my newest offering, which I'm like so excited about, is my community space, the Soul Group community. And that's where we can connect together as a spiritual community, as women who are having spiritual experiences and be expanded. And I just know how like lonely the spiritual journey can be and how you can feel like the weird one or the odd one out. And in this space, we really celebrate each other. We can share our spiritual experiences. You can ask questions and we can really go deep together, because when we talk about our spiritual gifts and someone expands, it's like the other person has the ability to expand too. We expand each other. So those are just a few ways that you can work with me.
Fantastic. And I know Krista has worked really hard on her spiritual community and creating that environment. Also, did you mention your podcast?
Oh yes, you're in a power with Krista.
Yes,
That is
she has a
something.
which, by the way, I am obsessed. I've only seen the clip on Instagram. I haven't gotten to listen yet, but the latest episode with your husband, I don't know, there's something I'm obsessed. I need
This,
like I'm like I can't wait to listen to this.
I
It's
have to say it
intriguing.
was so fun. Like it was really fun. It was something we've been saying we wanted to do a podcast together forever. And then we both got this weird sickness at the beginning of the year where we lost our voices. Something happened within our throat chakras together to be able to do this podcast, because like right after the sickness, we were like, okay, let's do the podcast episode.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's just really intriguing and it really like gives us a look inside your world too, like more personal.
Yeah. We were very much like we've been together for 15 years. Tomorrow's going to be 15 years actually. And we've just been like through so many iterations of each other, and we've really grown together, and we've been on our own like spiritual journeys as one too. So that's what we kind of get into. And also about how we're both really big risk takers, which we talked a little bit about today.
Cool, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Krista. We appreciate you being our premier guest.
I'm so honored to be the premier guest. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us live to our audience, and make sure to check out all the ways that you can connect and work with Krista. They are linked in the video description below. And if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe on YouTube. You can connect with Lacey and I through Twin Essence on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Twin Essence LLC. For those looking to work with us, you can book a twin magic reading at twinessence.com as the start of your starseed and ascension journey. And we will see you all next time with our next guest, which will be Christy Jewett on February 18th, 6 p.m. CST, 7 p.m. EST.